Thankfully the Star Wars Overlords as Disney and Lucasfilm have already blessed us with the second episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Both episodes 1 and 2 in the same week and on the same day. We're super excited to jump in and review these episodes for you, and break down all these details. Immediately this episode gives us a good boost to Star Wars fans with a cheeky reference and all. Now spoiler warning, this video will go straight into Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 2 and touch on episode 1. Watch away, but if you don't want spoilers, turn away. Greetings my young Padawans, my name is Jack and welcome to Star Wars Now. It's Kenobi time, we're super excited, but before we jump into the main video, hit that like and subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Star Wars Now. You can also follow us on social media, and for daily updates on the latest Star Wars news, including Celebration this weekend. Oh, and you probably want to know some more as well. Well, if you're talking about Star Wars, then get commenting down below, because we want to hear from you. So you know, immediately we are treated to a cheeky surprise in the second episode. For a moment, I thought we were about to get a known clone trooper appearing. Instead, we get Tamura Morrison cameoing as a veteran clone trooper. Honestly, I was so surprised, but this genuinely brought a smile to my face when I saw him appear on screen. I loved it. Also, Disney, Lucasfilm, you're teasing us with Commander Cody at this point, just get it over and done with. Anyway, let's get into the meat of this episode. Obi-Wan travels the planet of Dayu. Dayu is a very interesting planet, and very much reminds me of a Coruscanti underworld scene of just poverty, neon signs, and rampant drug use. Sounds like Bristol. It's actually quite distressing when Obi-Wan asks his spice dealer if he's looking for a girl, who claims this to be his daughter, and she simply says, "I was someone's daughter once, here you have some drugs, and you forget about your daughter." Still sounds like Bristol. But he does get a free sample of spice, which is generous, and uses to great effect later during a drug-filled smoke bomb to escape his captors. Sounds like, you know what, never mind. Dayu also has a good use of prosthetics being seen, with most of them being ones that are made for movies, just a reuse. The shows definitely do a good job of this kind of reuse continuity, which is continuity in alien designs but forced upon the more limited budget the shows have compared to the films. Either way, it's great to spot aliens in the background that you might recognise from movies. Who can you spot? One of the core details we can see is that Kenobi is not as young and active as he was in the Clone Wars. His fighting skill, while still better than most, has gotten slower and rustier. We see this especially when he takes on the kidnappers who took Leia Organa in the first place. They manage to not only ambush him, but also land a few critical hits on him. He even hurts his hand throwing a punch. To be fair, I would, so I don't know why we're criticising him on this. I'm personally loving Kenobi's interaction with Leia Organa in this episode. Both of their interactions work really well with each other. Kenobi is clearly not equipped to deal with children, it would seem. Perhaps like dealing with droids in a sense. I'd personally rather have a droid than a child, I'm going to be honest. Leia is already showing that she's well advanced for her age. Her cross-examination of Ben Kenobi works really well, and part of me is wondering if her force sensitivity is showing right now. As Kenobi comments, she's rather intelligent and wise for a young age of 10.
You think the less you say, the less you give away. But really, it's the opposite.
How old are you?
10.
You don't sound like you're 10.
Thank you.
However, it would seem like she's displaying that she's more aware of her age, compared to children typically her age, if that makes sense. Kenobi even compares Leia to Padme, her mother, and personally I would have to really like Kenobi to actually say she was a senator to Leia, to give Leia a new understanding of what it is and mean to actually be a senator. Because so far we've seen from the first episode that she thinks it's just guys in suits arguing at each other. Sounds like Parliament. But hearing that someone like her was a senator and a dear friend of the person who saved her would give her the inspiration to become a galactic senator, which I personally think would be really cool. Maybe we'll get that in later episodes. Now I have to say the con artist Haja Estri is actually pretty cool. Pretending to be a Jedi and actually conning people out of their money, but still doing good and helping people at the end of the day. He helps a family escape to Corellia, and then in the end also helps Kenobi and Leia escape Dayu. I was worried he might be killed by an Inquisitor, but it's really cool to actually see the Force ability that Kylo Ren used in The Force Awakens of stealing information from minds. It does seem that Reva is gifted in reading people, so this ability for her makes sense at the end of the day. So after Reva corners Kenobi, she is stopped by the Grand Inquisitor. Now this is where it gets even weirder, because Reva stabs the Grand Inquisitor, seemingly killing him. However, we know from watching too much of Star Wars Rebels that the Grand Inquisitor is still alive. We've seen people like Darth Maul survive getting cut in half, so Grand Inky can survive a stab surely. As we say in Star Wars, no one is ever truly gone. But with this knowledge, it just made the scene, wait what? Rather than its intended reaction, which is, oh my god, she just betrayed him to get to Kenobi. You get my point. And considering how Rupert Friend was at Star Wars Celebration this weekend talking about portraying the Grand Inquisitor, I'd probably expect him to do more. So he might be shown as recovered in a later episode, and possibly even taking revenge on Reva, stopping her from continuing her hunt against Kenobi. But I wonder if this means Vader will now show up. The dynamic of Reva and the Grand Inquisitor is still something we need to learn about. Even though hints are given in this episode, With a little bit more detail, it is still unknown why Reva is the lowest of the low in terms of the Inquisitorius. And I think she might not have been a Jedi, and that's probably where her frustration towards the other Inquisitors and wanting to prove herself comes from. What theories do you have? Let us know. Now, Kenobi and Leia have been sent by Hajar to the planet of Muthazo, where they're going to meet with some friends who can help them. I wonder if this might be a fledgling rebel cell or something. We know the rebellion hasn't been fully formed at this point, but there are a number of different rebel cells active at the moment. Muthazo was also mentioned in Star Wars Legends, but only briefly where an event known as the Mazo break-in happens. So I wonder who we might run into. Get theorizing, people. So, the revelation that Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, is still alive shakes Obi-Wan Kenobi to the core. Though I do have to wonder, why does Reva know that Lord Vader is Anakin Skywalker? Is this common knowledge of Inquisitorius? I wouldn't think so. But obviously we have seen Reva is good at reading people, and also goes into the archives of the former Jedi Order. So perhaps she simply pieced it together. One does have to question this. Vader's chilling reveal at the end of the episode gives us a taste of what is to come. We know the rematch of the century is going to take place, but when are we going to see it? I'm hoping we're not just left on cliffhanger to cliffhanger with content like this, as Lucasfilm does know we want it. Obviously on the flip side, they can't just give it to us right away, or people just probably wouldn't actually watch the show, so they've got to tease us and edge us into it a little bit. I am really liking the emotion Kenobi felt when they revealed that Vader was still alive. You can see this not only by the sound design and the visuals, but also fantastic acting by Ewan McGregor. He thought Anakin was dead for over 10 years. Now, he just learned he's alive again. This would shake someone to the core, as it's done with Kenobi, which we're watching right now. Honestly, I love it. I really enjoyed this episode and where it's heading in the series. I think a standout character we've seen from these first two episodes is Leia Organa. Actress Vivian Lyra Blair brings so much of the character we know and love of Leia, but obviously at a much younger stage of her life. That is such an accomplishment for a younger actress as well. Stepping into the late Carrie Fisher's shoes to bring the character of Leia to life is in a tall order, but she definitely nails the performance in my opinion. Obviously we're going to see even more of her throughout the Kenobi series, especially as the pair are not out of the woods just yet, and like his love the Empire on their tail. We still have a lot of questions, but this is only part 2 of 6. We're already a third of the way through the series, which is kind of scary when you think about it, and I think that is really cool. Having a short form series I think works really well for the story they're trying to tell, and hope it keeps up at a good pace. But I will say this episode was really packed with stuff, and I would have liked to sit with some stuff, maybe a little more, but I understand the decisions they made and trying to keep up that sort of momentum in a sense. I do enjoy it. We still have a lot of questions regarding Reva, especially considering she's willing to betray the leader of the Inquisitorius just to hunt down Kenobi. What is her fixation with Kenobi, and why is she so desperate to prove herself, even in committing treason against the Galactic Empire? We do get a little information, but it isn't necessarily answers. She is distinguished from her other Inquisitors and described as coming up from the gutters and only gaining her post by ability. I'd imagine then that Reva wasn't originally a Jedi Knight, and she was probably found to be a Force sensitive shortly after the events of Order 66, and then trained to be an Inquisitor. She was probably looked down upon by the other Inquisitors as we see, and this has fostered drive in her to be better than them and have to prove it by hunting one of the greatest Jedi known to still exist. I mean, Yoda's still out there to be fair, but you know, pick him and choose him. Unfortunately, to find out more, we have to wait until next week to find out. Well, episode 3 at least, depending when you're watching this. This was a great double feature premiere, and it's a great way to get us hooked into the series, and I cannot wait for more. I'm honestly super excited. Okay, Exalted Ones, that's it for myself today. Do let me know what you thought of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 2. Because once again, and as always, if you're talking about Star Wars, then we want to hear about it. So get commenting down below. You can catch the next episode of Kenobi on Disney+, which releases every Friday for the next couple of weeks. And if you enjoyed this review, make sure to let us know on Twitter as well, because we're being more active on there lately. Don't forget you can follow us on other social media as well. All the links are down below in the video description. Scroll down. For now, I have been Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon. May the Force be with you.